Students at San Francisco State University are speaking out. I'll tell you why coming up on State of Events.
Welcome to State of Events. I'm Shelby Nelson.
And I'm Christy Reno. Thanks for joining us.
Violence in Baltimore this week after Freddie Gray, an African-American man, dies in police custody following his arrest. This is video from the riots this week. As of Tuesday, over 200 people were arrested, 15 officers wounded, and over 100 vehicles torched. 500 National Guard members are in the city, with hundreds more on the way. It was an unsettling sight that is being compared to a war zone. President Barack Obama says this is not just about the death of Freddie Gray.
If we really want to solve the problem, if our society really wanted to solve the problem, we could. It's just it would require everybody saying this is important, this is significant. And that we don't just pay attention to these communities when a CVS burns. And we don't just pay attention when a young man gets shot or has his spine snapped. We're paying attention all the time because we consider those kids our kids and we think they're important and they shouldn't be living in poverty and violence.
Gray's family says that this is not what he would have done. They're urging people not to retaliate after days of looting and fires. The mayor of Baltimore says this is one of their darkest days. Gray's family says that this is not what he would have done. They're urging people not to retaliate after days of looting and fires. The mayor of Baltimore says this is one of their darkest days. Not everyone is putting up with rioters in Baltimore. One mother saw her son throwing objects at police officers on TV, and she took matters into her own hands. You can see her grab her son and chase him down. She tells him to take off his mask and doesn't let him get away. The Baltimore Police Commissioner commended her, saying that he wished more parents took charge of their kids during the riots. Media coverage on cases of police violence against minorities is increasing.
The graduating class of 2015 at San Francisco State University has its own plans for this year's ceremony and how they will be showing their solidarity with their victims. Anya Komisarek has more.
Another case of a person of color being killed by the police. Freddie Gray was killed in Baltimore last week in police custody. The country is in an uproar as a consistent trail of deaths continue, beginning in Ferguson, Missouri with teen Michael Brown to New York City with Eric Gardner. Protests are continuing, attempting to bring light the injustices. As students at San Francisco State are gearing up for graduation, an act of solidarity is also being planned for this year's ceremony. Both the Black Student Union and the Chicano student movement, MECHA, have plans for this year's graduation. As an act of solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement, they want all the graduating seniors to approach the podium with their hands up. The desire is to continue the path for civil rights for all people of color.
Concerns and issues to all colonized peoples and people who have been cultures and peoples who have been victim to colonialism and how that manifests both spiritually, mentally, physically in all kinds of ways, right? So that's kind of what we do, and seeing this whole movement of Black and Brown Lives Matter really kind of resonates with us.
Both BSU and MECHA are hoping for 100% participation from the graduating class of 2015 at San Francisco State University. They're hoping all the students are going to show their solidarity in both the large ceremony at AT&T Park with speakers such as former Mayor Gavin Newsom, along with all the individual departments and their ceremonies. This is Anya Komisarek reporting at San Francisco State University, State of Events.
The life of a college student sometimes requires late nights at the library, but walking a public campus at night isn't always the safest environment. Reporter Oscar Maciel finds out what the state of safety is at San Francisco State University. Oscar?
Thanks, Christy. Well, recent events on campus put personal safety into focus. Although campus takes measures to keep students safe, I wanted to know how students felt.
By day, San Francisco State University is alive and vibrant. But as the sun goes down and the lights come on, campus can be a lonely and desolate place. A few months ago, a female student was sexually assaulted. The attack happened as she walked alone at night past the student health center. The incident left many students shaken.
Walking by yourself from a late class to wherever you are on campus, it's a little scary, especially after hearing that.
My mom calls me every time I go before class to make sure that I'm walking with someone.
I do carry the pepper spray just in case. Like, you do have to be smart.
But the university is making an effort with better lighting, the companion or escort program, and emergency stations.
These emergency stations are scattered all across campus. How do they work? Easy. With the push of this red button, police are notified of the emergency. The question is, do students know where these stations are located?
I know there's one by the
telephone is.
That way? I have no idea right now, actually.
So although campus does what it can, students must play their part.
But I definitely am going to keep that in mind. I'm going to try to find those when I walk.
The university's crime report clearly designates the school's parameters. According to the report, many local crimes were outside of that area. The campus crime report for 2014 and 2015 has yet to be released. For State of Events, I'm Oscar Maciel. Back to you.
Thanks, Oscar. San Francisco County Jail deputies will soon be outfitted with body cameras. The plan follows recent allegations that deputies bet on fights between inmates. The cameras will monitor the interaction between inmates and deputies. This is aimed at protecting both inmates and deputies from unfounded allegations. The city will implement the cameras within the next few months.
In Nepal, a 7.8 magnitude earthquake killed thousands of people. The earthquake struck around 11:56 a.m. local time just outside of Kathmandu. More than 15 aftershocks rocked the area, some reaching magnitudes up to 6.6. Authorities say at least 3,000 people are dead, but with rescue efforts still underway, that number continues to grow. The earthquake leveled homes and toppled historical structures. A CNN Australia reporter recalls the moment the earthquake hit.
It was extremely violent. People started screaming and running in all directions. It was a very built-up area, so there weren't many options in terms of safe harbour for people to go to. And before my eyes, several of the individual temples in that temple complex started collapsing.
The iconic 9-story Dharahara Tower in Kathmandu is now rubble. Authorities believe 250 people were in the tower when it collapsed. Disaster relief efforts are underway. Google executive Dan Fredenberg was killed in the Nepal earthquake this weekend. The 7.9 earthquake caused a major ice fall, which killed the executive. He was one of 14 people that died on Mount Everest. His sister, Megan Fredenberg, posted a picture of Dan on Instagram explaining the incident. Fredenberg's sister wrote on his Instagram page, "I regret to inform all who loved him that during the avalanche early this morning that our Dan suffered from a major head injury and didn't make it. We appreciate all of the love that has been sent to us thus far." Fredenberg, who lived in San Francisco, was the head of privacy for Google X.
Chile's Calbuco volcano exploded last week for the first time in 42 years. The once dormant volcano produced stunning blasts which could be seen from nearby towns. Enormous amounts of ash were spewed over the city of Ensenada. About 6,000 people had to evacuate their homes. Residents are still cleaning up the mess, which caused serious property damages and possible health concerns. Still ahead on State of Events, the Bay Area is seeing an increase in traffic. Reporter Xavier Galindo will tell us why.
And later, a popular restaurant is making some changes.
At first, I was a bit hesitant to try it.
To tell you the truth, I didn't think I'd fit in. But I kept pushing her. She ended up loving it.
I was surprised. It was an amazing experience.
And now we do it at least twice a month.
I've even gotten most of my friends to do it.
If you do it enough, you can get a great deal on the price.
Why didn't we think of this before?
It's a stimulating experience.
The Z-Space Studio.
Word for word.
Z-Space Studio, word for word, stimulation guaranteed. See you at the theater.
For a city that seems to be moving fast, cars are actually moving slower in recent years. Xavier Galindo gives us more details about how San Francisco's traffic has increased. Xavier?
Thank you, Shelby. San Francisco has become a prime location for people interested in working in the tech industry, but our streets are not prepared for such an influx of cars. San Francisco has become a prime destination for many people interested in working in the tech industry, but our streets are not prepared to deal with the increase of population. A new study by TomTom Traffic Index estimated that San Francisco is the second most congested urban city in the nation.
I agree with that, actually, because every day, we've been on traffic. It's been hard right now to get to work and park your car.
According to David Seriani, the rapid economic growth in San Francisco might be the cause of traffic congestion.
As unemployment percentage goes down, people start driving more because they have to get to work.
More money, more problems, but no money, slow solutions.
Right now, we're about 60-70% of our goal of 800 lane miles of carpool lanes in the Bay Area. We're going to continue with that. Obviously, we're running short of funds right now to build them all.
Other plans by the California Department of Transportation to ease congestion in San Francisco are building designated bus lanes to promote public transit and allow solo vehicles on carpool lanes for a small fee. Drivers hope that these solutions arrive a little faster than they arrive to their destinations. This study only included urban cities in the United States. Looking at the 9 counties in the Bay Area, San Francisco's congestion only represents 7% of all traffic in the Bay Area. Alameda has actually the highest percentage of traffic with 35% of all traffic. For State of Events, Xavier Galindo, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Xavier. Good news for San Francisco State students. A discounted transit pass might be available a lot sooner than some think. Students gathered data from surveys they handed out a couple weeks ago. They hope to find that the majority of students would pay for a semester-long transit pass if the prices were drastically discounted. The transit pass would be added to the tuition, so everyone has the opportunity to ride BART or Muni at a lower rate. Currently, BART and school officials are planning a complete proposal for the reduced student transit rates for next year. Then students will have the chance to vote and approve. The passes could be in the hands of students by fall 2017.
The Elbow Room is officially closing its doors this November. The popular Mission District bar's lease is ending, and the building's owners and founders of the Elbow Room plan to turn the place into condos. A letter was posted to the bar's Facebook page confirming the lease ending November 1st. The owners say they're looking to find a new home for the Elbow Room.
And yet another one of San Francisco's popular LGBT nightclubs is closing down. Lexington, the city's only lesbian bar, is closing due to new development in the area. The 18-year-old bar is closing on Thursday, April 30th. Lexington hopes to raise funds to put a permanent plaque on the street corner. You can support by finding them on Facebook or GoFundMe.com.
And one of America's favorite burrito chains has some changes in store. For more details, we go to the reporter Viviana Cruz, who is live at Chipotle in Daly City. Viviana?
Thanks, Shelby. Well, Chipotle is putting its customers to the test. The burrito chain announced that it will be increasing its prices this coming year. This comes after a shortage of beef, as well as a lack of increase in recent sales in comparison to last year.
Chipotle Mexican Grilled raised its prices last year due to dairy and avocado costs. This year, it's beef. According to Chipotle, steak and barbacoa burritos cost $1 more to make than other alternatives like chicken and veggie burritos.
As of right now, the price of a steak burrito, like this one, is $7.40. But according to Chipotle executives, prices will rise this coming year due to low prices last year.
In an interview with CNN, CFO John Hartung mentioned that meat prices at Chipotle have been under market price for a long time. Chipotle is a crowd favorite among many college students, and they weren't too fond of the changes to come.
I think it's outrageous what's happening here. Chipotle is one of my favorite Mexican restaurants. You got your burritos, you got your gains.
It's kind of annoying that the prices are going up because that's like the only thing I really want to eat as a college student is Chipotle.
It's like the prices are going to go up, so I'll probably eat here a lot less just because I'm in college and, eating out usually doesn't happen for me all the time.
But I used to kind of come here about 3 times a week, as bad as that sounds.
But yeah, I mean, the fact that even kind of taking price into consideration now, it's probably something I'll definitely look at other options as opposed to just quickly going here.
Just last year, Chipotle received some backlash because they took out carnitas from their menu. The burrito store cut pork from its menu because its suppliers were not meeting standards.
I was very heartbroken, to say the least. Personally stopped going to Chipotle just because the carnitas was there.
However, pork is not expected to be back in stores until fall. Customers will just have to wait until then. Chipotle executives aren't too worried about lines decreasing at the burrito chain, even with the expected price increase of 4 to 6%.
Chipotle just announced that it will now be using GMO-free foods. Whether or not other restaurants will follow their lead is yet to be seen. Reporting in Chipotle in Daly City, for State of Events, I'm Viviana Cruz.
All right, Viviana, the famous Kraft Mac Cheese will never be the same. Starting in January 2016, the pasta will no longer be made with artificial preservatives or synthetic colors. The change is part of Kraft's mission to meet consumers' changing lifestyles and needs. It is unknown if the change will increase prices.
And SF State is becoming more sustainable even after Earth Month.
And the Tanners may be coming back to San Francisco in 2016.
That's next on State of Events.
Boy, I'm tired. I cannot believe what I've been through today. When I went to the prenatal clinic, it was raining. I had to walk a long way. People were rude to me. The buses were late. It was really hard getting to the prenatal clinic today. But it's okay. I've been doing this for me and my baby.
Free or low-cost prenatal care is available for you. Call 1-800-300-9950.
Welcome back to State of Events. Homelessness is a major problem in large cities, and San Francisco is no exception, but there may be more people finding homes very soon. Sepana Gilsarup has the story.
A lot of homeless people in San Francisco are actually veterans, and now new tactics are being put into place to help find them permanent housing.
There are over 6,000 homeless people in San Francisco, and roughly 1 in 6 of them are veterans. The fight to end veterans' homelessness got a major boost last week when Secretary of Veterans Affairs Robert McDonald visited City Hall.
That no one has fought for this country should have to fight to have a roof over their head.
The Office of Veterans Affairs is giving San Francisco $1.8 million a year for the next 10 years. The money is supposed to help local organizations dedicated to housing veterans. Organizations like Swords to Plowshares, who have already secured 2 buildings solely for veterans. These efforts follow President Obama's challenge to end veterans' homelessness by the end of 2015.
President Barack Obama's challenge to end veterans' homelessness started in 2010. Since then, national veteran homelessness is down 33%. Live in San Francisco, I'm Sepana Gilsarup, San Francisco State of Events.
Well, we are coming to a close for April, and that means that Earth Month will be over.
But before it ends, I looked into how San Francisco State is being sustainable. From I found out, they do many things to help the environment. Here's what I saw. For the last couple of years, San Francisco State has been ranked on Princeton's Green Honor Roll. The school makes a continuous effort to be sustainable. One of their goals is to make their waste zero by the year 2020.
We want to recycle or compost everything, and we're getting there. We're about 70%, so we're looking at ways to do better composting in the dorms, in the res halls, to switch some of the kitchens in the cafes to being 100% waste-free.
Many students hope to see improvement of waste in the on-campus resident halls.
Maybe teaching the residents how to use the bins correctly. Also, maybe having more distinct rooms, like one room for the garbage or one room for recycling.
Composting and recycling aren't only what SF State does to be sustainable. In 2011, San Francisco State partnered with PG&E to build this fuel cell. It was in an effort to reduce campus-wide greenhouse gases. Cars are even a part of this effort. A grant was given to put in charging stations in the garage. To promote eating local and organic food, there's a garden on campus behind Mary Park Hall. Students like that their school is more sustainable than others.
I think in general that we do better than other schools as far as being sustainable. And for example, the farmers market is really nice because they have locally grown fruit that you can buy.
In the future, the university hopes to make a CSU-wide sustainability policy so that there is a common goal throughout the state of California. In San Francisco, I'm Christy Reno, State of Events. We have a special guest this week. Reporter Erica Cataray is in Studio 3 with them now. Erica?
Thank you. Muttville is a nonprofit organization that was started in 2007 to help improve the lives of older dogs. They've rescued thousands of dogs and helped find them new homes. In the studio with me today is Patty Stanton. She is one of the board members for Muttville, and she's also a foster mom, adopter, and volunteer. So thank you for being here, and I see that you brought this little fella here.
Say hi to Mr. Banks. Mr. Banks is in the
Maltese,
house.
Huh?
He's a Maltese Terrier mix out of LA,
Yeah.
13, and he's my foster dog.
Oh, he's up for adoption,
He is indeed. He's one of about 80 right now. We have about 80 dogs, mostly in foster care, although our headquarters is bustling with new ones this week. I think we brought in like 15 senior dogs.
Yeah, so you guys have rescued 3,000 dogs so far, right? Can you tell us a little more about what you guys do and how you guys are different from other?
Sure. All right, well, we call a senior dog 7 and older. And we've been around since 2007, taking in dogs from California shelters and from people who can no longer care for them, mostly from California shelters. Like he's from LA, about a third of them come from there. And you know, these dogs, they don't really get a chance when they're left at a shelter. Most people want puppies or younger dogs. But senior dogs, they come with manners, they're grateful, mellow. What you see is what you get. So we're foster based. We have about 60, 70, 80 foster homes that rotate. And when the dogs come into Muttville, the foster people come and pick them up and then take them into their homes so that they can integrate them into a home.
Yeah, so dogs have been shown to help have a huge impact on people, such as lowering blood pressure, cholesterol. Can you tell us more about their impact on people and senior citizens?
Having a dog will make you live longer because look at this unconditional love. This guy, he follows me everywhere in the house and makes me smile all the time. So yes, there's been lots of scientific studies that shows that your heart rate lowers and that you're likely to live longer with the love of a dog.
Why are so many older dogs left and not getting adopted, even if they're in good health? And what's your mission to change that?
Sure, thanks for asking. Well, you know, there's all kinds of reasons why people dump their senior dogs. Sometimes people die and they haven't made a plan. Go into assisted living and they haven't made a plan. Foreclosure, divorce. We've even seen stories whereby someone said, oh, this dog's too old and I got a new one. Isn't that awful? But, you know, they land at the, the mini shelters and we do what we can. So you're right, this week we hit a milestone with saving the 3,000th senior dog. Her name's Gia. She was found as a stray in McLaren Park here in San Francisco. Really skinny. Now we fattened her up and she's ready to be adopted. Muttville, muttville.org.
And thank you so much for
thank
coming.
you for having us. We appreciate
really
the attention.
appreciate it and hope that somebody out there will come for you.
Bye,
Mr.
everybody.
Banks. Sports is up next on State of Events.
Giants fans are torn on a controversial decision.
And we have a recap on the Warriors' latest series.
Hello, my name's Penny. I think people shouldn't do drugs. They can make you forget things, like which animals have stripes. And your body might get clumsier, so you can't jump rope as good. Drugs can get you in big trouble. You could go to principal's office or go to jail. Then you can't watch TV or eat pizza. Recess is good. Hamsters are good. Birthday parties are real good. Drugs are bad. I wouldn't do drugs.
Welcome back to State of Events. I'm John Wilson with sports. MLB's home run king no longer has a felony conviction on his record. Former Giants outfielder Barry Bonds' obstruction of justice charge from 2011 was overturned last week. This decision could be the key to his entry into baseball's Hall of Fame. Some, though, think his induction into Cooperstown is controversial. But most Giants fans still think he deserves it. Bonds stated, quote, "I'm excited about what the future holds for me as I embark on the next chapter." And Warriors fans have every reason to be excited about the future of their team. Golden State swept the New Orleans Pelicans 4-0 in the first round of the playoffs. It was the team's first sweep since 1989 when they beat the Jazz 3-0, also in the first round. It was their first 4-game sweep since the 1975 NBA Finals. They will now face the winner of the Grizzlies and Trailblazers series in the next round starting sometime this weekend. One of those Warriors was recently compared to a former vice president. Draymond Green finished second to Kawhi Leonard in the NBA Defensive Player of the Year voting. However, it was Green who received more first-place votes. Warriors fans are feeling the snub, but Green doesn't seem to be too bothered by the results. According to ESPN's Ethan Sherwood-Strauss, Green said, quote, "Al Gore won the popular vote and didn't get elected president, so I'm not going to beat up myself over not winning Defensive Player of the Year." Now, the Kings finished another season out of the playoffs, but at least they were still in Sacramento. If you remember, it wasn't that long ago that it looked like they could be leaving town. Now, after 2 years of stable ownership and a renewed commitment to the city, ESPN is releasing a documentary chronicling Sacramento's fight to keep the Kings from relocating. ESPN titled the documentary Down in the Valley, and it's part of their 30 for 30 series. It's scheduled to air in the fall, and it recently premiered in New York's Tribeca Film Festival. Brian May of News 10 in Sacramento shared a leaked clip from the movie, and here it is.
There's a lot of uncertainty, as we all know, but the one thing that we do know is the love affair between this team and this city. And tonight, we say so long.
I'm in the car trying not to cry. And I remember the final thought, for me was, we may have lost that game, but the most important game for this franchise is tomorrow in New York. And if we can win that one, that will make this one a thing of the past. It really felt like we were in a battle to protect something that was ours. So I felt like if the team is for sale and I know what the number is, I gotta go put together an ownership group that can match that. It was about fighting for my city.
I don't think Kevin tried to save the team because he was the mayor. I think he tried to save the team because Sacramento is home.
And the Kings aren't the only ones on ESPN. SF State's Nick Jackson recently made SportsCenter's top 10 after making a diving catch in center field. Let's take a look at that.
At number 2, the old Chico State-San Francisco State rivalry, top 8. Rocket to deep center. How about Nick Jackson? Look at that grab. How was that an HD, by the way? Anyway, nicely done, and San Francisco hangs on for the 4-3 win.
Now, this recognition wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for the 3 people you see standing next to me. I'd like to welcome in SF State's Ashley Keene, Anton Lucktel, and James Torrescano. Guys, take me through the process of capturing this play and getting it on ESPN.
Well, I was on camera for the play. I was on the first base dugout, and I was just doing my job. I saw a pop fly, I found the ball, and then he just chased it down and made an incredible play.
Sure did.
Ashley came to me after the game and was like, hey, we have a great shot of getting this on SportsCenter. So we went up to the lab, we cut the film, we got the email of a guy who works at ESPN. We had no idea if it's going to make top 10 plays, so I'm on my way driving home. She calls me and goes, freaking out, hey, we just made SportsCenter number 2. So I start freaking out, I'm driving, so I speed home and I turn on ESPN and we made number 2, so I was excited.
Nice. And, it's great recognition for our school. Our athletic department isn't highlighted that much, and this was just a great opportunity for it. Our Facebook post has over 9,000 views. Wow. The YouTube post has over 1,000 views, and it's just really good to put our athletic department in that light.
Well, and selfishly, I bet it felt amazing to get a courtesy on ESPN. So great work, guys. That wraps up sports. For Ashley Keene, Anton Lucktel, and James Torrescano, I'm John Wilson. Back to you guys.
And now for your weird story of the week. Many of us would love to live off Girl Scout cookies, but what if you had to eat them to survive? 2 sisters in Michigan say that they survived on love, melted snow, and Girl Scout cookies when their SUV got snowed in. The women were missing for 2 weeks. They used a small desolate road and ended up getting trapped in their Ford Explorer. The sisters were found after a search helicopter saw a reflection from the SUV.
I mean, surviving on Girl Scout cookies seems tough, but
I would love to survive just on Girl Scout cookies. Well, that's all we have for State of Events this week. I'm Shelby Nelson.
And I'm Christy Reno. We'll see you next week.